views and opinions expressed by the host of this show are his and his alone. They do not reflect those of this network, his employer, any of the universities he attended, his family and friends, or former roommates, any of the 5 Temptations, the 4 Tops, or any number of the Pips. They may or may not reflect those of the other voices in his head. His dog, however, agrees with him 100%. And now, broadcasting from Venture X Studios in Frisco, Texas, it's the Snarky Parenthetical. Here's your host. He's highly caffeinated and mildly irritated. Here's Lathan Watts.
All right. Welcome back to the Snarky Parenthetical. Glad to have everybody back. We took sort of a technical hiatus last week. We had a minor issue. That
few things going on.
Yeah, that we think we have worked out. So I make no promises, but there could be 2 episodes coming out today. So you might have a double dose of the Snarky Parenthetical to start your long weekend. But if nothing else, we'll go ahead with today's show. So let's just get right into it. First thing I want to talk about, a couple of news stories that caught my eye this week. Both of them food related, but yeah, pretty interesting. So the first one, if you want to pull up that headline, the Slim Jim guy. There he is.
Okay,
Florida man arrested after 1 month, an entire month of eating Slim Jims at a gas station for free. Claimed to be from corporate as a regional gym specter. Instantly, first thing right off the bat, like I said before, I appreciate putting Florida man as the beginning of this headline. Just to allay my fears right from the beginning. It's another wild and woolly tale from Florida and not one of my people back in the natural state. So thank you very much for that. And this dude pulled this off for a month. Just showing up to his local,
it's quite impressive.
Gas station, just eating Slim Jims.
Mm-hmm.
And when I asked about it, I was like, "Well, I'm from corporate." and check out the picture, because if nothing says I'm from corporate, like this look that he's sporting right here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm from corporate. I'm a regional gym specter.
Gym specter.
Yeah.
That's, when corporate regional manager type comes to mind, that's not the look that I envision.
It's quality control right there. He's just out there testing out the product out in the field. Just making sure we're living up to the quality product that is Slim Jim.
That's right.
Yeah. So there's that. And then my second news item that I came across this week that I definitely wanted to talk about here today. Hat tip to the smoking gun, which I think we got that article as well. We'll pop that up there. Here it comes. There we go. Dipping sauce rage results in man's arrest.
Dipping sauce rage.
Yeah. So
we got to dive deeper into this one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wanted to spend a little more time on this one. After realizing that dipping sauce was not included with his chicken McNuggets order, an Iowa man called his local McDonald's and threatened to blow up the restaurant, according to investigators. Robert Goldwitzer, 42, was arrested and charged with making a false report about an explosive or incendiary device. I'm going to skip down here a little bit, but it says the phone threat cops charge came after Goldwitzer discovered that his McDonald's order was bereft of dipping sauces. So let me pause for a second here, because whoever wrote this as a writer, I got to give you props for working in bereft into a smoking gun article, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like, whoever wrote this is like,
sauce.
hey, look, I know I write for the smoking gun, but by God, I'm still a writer.
Right.
His order was bereft of dipping sauce. Okay.
I'm still using my big English words.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I paid for this education. I'm gonna use it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Okay, but then to me, like the last part here, the criminal complaint does not specify which flavor of dipping sauce allegedly drove Goldwitzer to felonious conduct. which that is a crime in and of itself to me. Like this is why I'm reading this story. Like,
Right.
What sauce was it?
Exactly.
Like, this man called in a bomb threat over sauce, and you're not going to tell me what sauce that he ordered?
Right.
Like, I mean, I get it. The man is eating McDonald's, right? Which is barely qualifies as food.
Of course.
Which makes the sauce pretty important, I guess.
Right. That's an essential part of the meal.
Yeah, exactly. So I really need to know, like, what sauce was it that drove this man to commit a felony?
It seems like essential information.
Right. Because, I mean, if it was Chick-fil-A sauce, right? If this was Chick-fil-A, it was Chick-fil-A sauce. Yeah. You run out of Chick-fil-A, like, he might have gotten away with a warning. It would have been like, okay, we understand, but just don't do it again, right?
Exactly.
But you know what? It wouldn't happen at Chick-fil-A.
That's a good point.
If Chick-fil-A ran out of Chick-fil-A sauce, Jesus would just turn water into Chick-fil-A sauce.
That's exactly what would happen. Yep.
It would just be, oh, no. Yeah.
It'd be manna from heaven.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd see it coming down, and people from miles around would just instantly, like, smiles would.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have, the worst thing in your day could have happened, and you just instantly get a smile on your face, instant joy.
Right.
Just it would emit from miles around.
Right. Yeah. The heavens open up. You hear angels singing. All of a sudden, oh no, we're not out of Chick-fil-A sauce.
Yeah.
No.
Order has been restored.
Yeah.
The entire town.
Jesus is not going to let his chicken go without his sauce. Right.
Exactly.
I mean, this would never happen at Chick-fil-A.
No.
Now, I can tell you, if I'm bereft of Whataburger spicy ketchup, I cannot be held responsible for my actions. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. If I wind up in a smoking gun article like this one, it's probably going to be because, excuse me, of a lack of spicy ketchup from Whataburger.
Oh yeah, I don't roll out of there without at least 3 of them.
Yeah.
For a regular size fry. I mean, because they're just, if you have an extra one, you throw it in the drawer and you've
got the drawer. Everybody has that drawer, right? Exactly. You got the drawer in the kitchen.
Yes.
All the extra spicy ketchups, all of the extra, like, crushed red pepper and Parmesan from wherever pizza place that you order from, because they give you like 50 of them. You go in there, yeah, can I get some crushed pepper and Parmesan? And they just unload a box of them on you. Like, okay, well, it's going in the drawer. Like, everybody's got that drawer.
You just never know. May or may not have one at my desk at the office. And
of course you do. Yeah.
The sauce drawer, because, you just never know.
All right, so there's a couple of news stories that caught my eye this week. So let's get into something a little more serious, shall we say. We have yet another Olympian who made the Olympic team and was upset that the national anthem played at the United States Olympic trials.
Right.
Now, we talked about a little bit. We talked something about this last week, and that may or may not be the lost episode. So, if it comes out, then this is just a continuation of previous discussion. But this is a whole new thing. Like, she was on the podium, they played the anthem. She didn't like it. Kind of turned her back. Had this little, prissy pose, like she was really upset. She said she felt like she was set up, like she was shocked that they would play the national anthem at the Olympic trials.
Yeah. Yeah. How is that a setup in any way?
Right.
Something every American has seen for how long? Decades?
Yeah, exactly. And, whatever her problem is with the country that makes her uncomfortable being on the podium while the national anthem is being played. I don't, it doesn't really matter to me what your issue is, right? If you choose this way to bring it up, I'm not going to listen.
Right.
Okay. The fact that this country respects and defends individual liberty to the degree that it does, that we value freedom so much in this country that we will allow you to even disrespect the national anthem of this country. The fact that we allow that should generate enough gratitude for you not to do it.
Exactly.
Like, there are other ways to make your point. There are other ways to make your case, and more
Yep.
people will listen to you, I promise, if you do it another way. You do it this way, I got nothing for you. I'm not
Right.
going to listen to a word you say. And you may
Yep.
have a legitimate gripe. I don't, so
Yeah. Yeah. The action is going to speak louder.
Right.
Like the shock value of it is going to speak louder than anything that any real point that you wanted to make.
Exactly. And like, she felt set up. Let me tell you about another time, like probably maybe one of the more famous renditions of the national anthem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Comes out on
Classic.
stage
Yep.
as the sun's coming up, plugs in, and starts playing the national anthem. Now, if there's any group of people that probably could claim to be surprised that the national anthem was being played at an event, it's probably those folks at Woodstock. Okay?
Right.
And you go back and you listen to that, you don't hear anybody booing. You know,
Right.
if you see video of it, you don't see anybody like giving him the bird or, like thumbs down or anything like that. And I mean, this is probably the most countercultural, anti-traditional America crowd ever gathered in one spot at that point in history, right? And Jimmy plugs in and starts playing the national anthem, and nobody out there is like, hey, man, I didn't come here for this. I'm out here to do drugs and fornicate in the mud. Nobody said anything about the national anthem being played.
Right.
Even those folks.
I'm offended.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I mean, even those folks were cool with it.
Right.
And now we got Olympic athletes. The whole point is you're competing to represent your country. Right?
Exactly.
What did you think was going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
When you won the right to do it, and this chick came in third, by the way, so you barely made it on the team.
Right. And then there's the other part of it that's like, because most Olympic athletes that I've seen interviewed or just talking about their experience and preparing and the journey to getting there seem to the cornerstone of their comments always seem to be, and I'm so proud to do this for my country.
Right.
It just makes me, it brings me joy to be able to represent my country. So
yeah,
that's the interesting part to me is she knew that she was there to represent her country, and that's what she's been training for
this
for
is the
years.
national anthem of the country. So why would
why are you even bothering to represent your country?
Here's a little homework assignment for this Olympic athlete. When you get to the Olympics, since you made it on the Olympic team, even though there are people calling for you to be kicked off of it, and I'm not one of those, okay? Sure. You earn the right. You're one of the best at this event. You're on the team. I'm not trying to cancel anybody, okay? Right. But while you're there at the Olympics, see if you can track down maybe somebody in your event that's competing for China or North Korea or Iran. Or Venezuela, if they're able to field a team, I don't know. And ask them, if you can get them away from their government handlers long enough, ask them what would happen to them in their country if they did something to protest their anthem and their flag. Mm-hmm. And then come back and tell me about all the problems in this country.
Right.
Like, go talk to those folks and see what would happen to them if they tried to pull what you just tried to pull.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And while we're at it, there's one other picture, I think, that I sent you. We can take this down.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's pull that up real quick here.
There we go. Here's a little history lesson for this Olympian. This is Jesse Owens at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. Mm-hmm. Okay? Now, if you know anything about what was going on in this country in the 1930s, particularly, segregation, race relations, all of things, like Jesse Owens had plenty to be pissed off about things that were going on in this country. Okay, nobody would debate that. All right, but here's him at the Olympics on the podium, and here's what he chose to do.
Yep.
You know why? Because this guy knows as bad as things were in his country, he's standing next to an actual Nazi. Mm-hmm. And this is in Berlin.
Right.
Okay, so look at that picture. He's on the podium next to a guy saluting Hitler. Okay, this is what he chose to do. Why? Because this is the best thing that he can do. The best thing he can do to absolutely explode the myth of white supremacy is that right there, is win.
Yeah.
Right? And he did.
Exactly.
And when he had the biggest platform in the world, he stood and saluted his flag right next to an, just be like Jesse Owens. Right?
Yes.
Like there was plenty he could have been upset about going on in this country. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Justifiably so. And I'm not saying that whatever her issue is not justified.
Right.
Okay? But this is how you handle it.
Right.
You're representing the country. You be thankful that there's never been a country like the one that we have, that even when things aren't as they should be, tries as hard as we do to fix it. Okay?
Exactly.
And make it better. And you love the country anyway. It's
Right.
just like anything that you love, anything or any person that you love. It's not perfect. You love it anyway.
Right.
You love it for
Right.
what it is, for the good that it is. Right?
Yep.
Doesn't mean that's not like denying that there's nothing bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We're all imperfect, fallen human beings. Right?
Sure.
So love it anyway.
Yep.
Right? Love it for the things that it gets right.
Yes.
And here's Jesse standing right next to an actual Nazi who I don't know what was going on in his mind, and I don't know what his take on politics was.
Mm-hmm.
But something tells me it was something along the lines of, hey, no, we're not getting everything right, but it's better than what this guy's got.
Right. It's the most right.
Yeah.
In the moment, right?
Right. We're constantly trying to improve. Nobody's saying we're denying that anything is, that there's nothing wrong. But we do our best to fix it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, little history lesson there for this Olympian.
That's right. And Jesse Owens is one of the most celebrated, legendary
absolutely
Olympians too.
Absolutely.
There's no one saying, no, wait a second, where was he? When he could have taken a real stand for.
Yeah, no, look.
Right. I mean,
because he did.
Right.
Like I said, he did the best thing he could do.
Right.
There was no greater rejection of everything that Hitler believed in than going into Berlin with Hitler in the crowd and absolutely smoking those guys in every event.
Exactly.
Everything that he competed in.
Yep.
Like, here is the refuting of everything you believe played out on the world stage right in your front yard, Adolf.
Exactly. Yep.
That's what he did. I mean, he did what he could do. That was the best thing he could do, was go out there and prove in front of the world.
Yep.
This is nonsense. Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So, for the Olympian there, that's an actual Nazi on the platform.
Mm-hmm.
Not just somebody whose opinion is to the right of yours and you disagree with.
Right.
This is an actual Nazi, which, while we're exploding myths, fascism is a left-wing ideology, by the way. Every time somebody starts talking about, these right-wing fascists, well, you don't know what you're talking about. It's a left-wing ideology.
Right.
Always has been, always will be, right? The Nazi Party was the National Socialist Party.
Right.
If you're looking at the spectrum, it's on the left.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
weird how these terms get twisted and taken.
Yeah, exactly. And they can be because people are historically ignorant.
Oh yeah.
A
lot of that.
Everybody says, those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. Let me tell you what is true. Those who have studied history are doomed to watch those of you who haven't repeat it. While we stand around screaming, pick up a book, right? Like, this was entirely predictable.
Right. Every day is just a perpetual facepalm. Just really, you couldn't have seen this guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, anyway, so there's our maybe actual news and analysis as opposed to the little lighthearted stuff that I found this week. But that leads us to the fact that we are heading into the long weekend for Independence Day.
That's right.
And before I start talking about that, I should mention this week's show, sponsored by El Pollo Hermano.
That's right. Yep.
I think last week's show. I think they sponsored last week's show too.
Did they really? Oh, that's.
So this might be, if we get them both out today, then there you go.
Well, see, here's the thing:
You don't say
You
no.
don't say no.
You don't say no to a Pollo Hermano.
Yeah.
They want to sponsor it twice. Yes, sir.
There's no way you want to say no.
Yeah. You don't want to be on the
to
wrong
this
end
guy.
of an argument with the folks running El Pollo Hermano.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't let the name fool you. They're not chicken. Like the Chicken Brothers.
Yeah.
No. All right.
They may make some good fried chicken, but
They do. It's so good. It's, some people might say it's addictive.
yeah.
Some of the stuff that comes along with it. Just saying. All right. Okay, so like I said, we're heading into the 4th of July weekend. So Independence Day, that's kind of why I wanted to do that previous segment on, love your country anyway, right? It's not perfect. Nobody thinks that it is. But it's the best we got.
Yep.
And holidays like this should be the things that we can all sort of unite around. Right. And as a way to sort of tie to the first kind of humorous news segments, because of the way we celebrate Independence Day around here, I am really looking forward to maybe finding some good liquor and fireworks stories to review next week.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at you, Florida. You hear
That's
me?
right.
I'm looking at y'all. Okay.
You've got quite a reputation to uphold.
Yeah, because that's how we do things down here. I'm just going to tell you, in the South, I can admit this. I have been at a 4th of July gathering where this phrase was announced to the crowd quite vociferously. Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all, anybody want anything? I'm going to the line for more liquor and fireworks.
Yes.
Now, if you've never heard the term going to the line, that's because you grew up in a county where alcohol was sold. I grew up in a dry county.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear, hey, I'm going to the line for liquor and fireworks, well, now it's a party, right?
Oh, yeah.
This party's about to we're about to take it up a notch.
And we're going cross county for this.
Exactly. I mean, hey, he's coming back from the line with liquor and fireworks. And I will say, at said party, later on, after the announcement, after he had returned from the line with liquor and fireworks, standing there kind of chatting with some friends, and we had sort of kind of naturally formed like a circle. We were kind of standing in a circle, just standing there talking. And I suspect somebody who maybe had made the run to the line and enjoyed some of it on the way back, but we're just standing in a circle talking, and all of a sudden I look down and there's like a handful of lit bottle rockets that were just tossed in the ground in the middle of this circle. Like, just lit them all, walked by, and just tossed them in the middle of us. Now, okay. I've never been fleet of foot, okay? I'm not fast. Was not blessed with speed. If I was at like a combine or something, and they were, they're putting the clock on me for the 40, they could probably use a sundial, right? Like, Watts is up, break out a calendar. Yes. However, I will say, when you're standing there and a handful of lit bottle rockets is tossed at your feet, Usain Bolt could not have moved any quicker than I did at that moment. And the people that were standing there in that circle talking, it was like roaches when the lights come on, just gone, just poof. And then take cover and wait for the fireworks to stop. Everybody okay? Yeah, all right. Well,
you discovered speed you didn't know you had.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 or 4 extra gears.
Yeah. Once alcohol and small amounts of dynamite are involved, black powder. Yeah.
All bets are off.
Right. So I'm looking forward to maybe some potentially good stories next week. Don't let me down. I'm not encouraging you to go out and do anything irresponsible. I'm just saying I'm expecting there's probably going to be some stories for us to review in the weeks ahead. One of my you got any kind of favorite 4th of July memory, Independence Day tradition or anything?
It's I guess one of the more enduring memories was we'd go to this freeway overpass for several years in a row, and a bunch of us would just spread out blankets on the grass on the overpass there. There's a mall across the the freeway, and that's where they'd set them off. And so we'd set up there, and there's a few interesting memories. Number one, it was next to a Chuck E. Cheese, and I always remember, as a young person, obviously being real excited about the Chuck E. Cheese.
Right.
Grew up with a rather strict mother who was very into health food.
Oh.
And not the kind of not the kind of diet that lent itself
to Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese, yeah. So so one of my favorite memories was figuring out some way, and I would tell myself every year, I'm going to figure out some way to sneak into that Chuck E. Cheese.
I'm going to get in there, and I'm going to see that animatronic mouse, and I'm going to have that glorious,
the world's going to change, right?
Greasy pizza that's been sitting out there for maybe a day and a half.
Well, and so that's the thing. I was thinking of it as this holy grail experience.
Right.
So I finally figure it out, and it takes a few years for me to figure out how to execute this plan. Finally works out one year, and I'm just like, oh, this is what it was all this time. Are you, this
right.
This like melted.
I went through all of this
cheese
for that. Like
Yeah.
you had like this Ocean's 11 style plot that you come up with. Spent 6 months. You know, like, I've been working on this since January, and I got in here for this.
I think I could have melted some Kraft singles on some cardboard, and it would have tasted better.
Yeah. You may have just given away the Chuck E. Cheese pizza recipe.
Maybe very well. Yeah, that's a good possibility right there. Very well might be the truth.
I've got a couple. I've got a cousin whose birthday is the 4th of July. So I was down his place, and because his birthday is the 4th of July, he always had a ridiculous amount of fireworks. Just ludicrous amount of fireworks. And it was around his front yard, and completely unsupervised. I can't even tell you all the stuff that we got into, but we had this giant Roman candle. He had these total white trash neighbors across the street that he couldn't stand, and we had this giant Roman candle. And I swear to you, this was not intentional, but it did happen. Got it all set up, lit it, take off to get out of the way.
Right.
The first one shoots up, and the force of it kind of shakes the Roman candle, and it tips over against like the little box that we had set up, right? And it is aimed now directly at the front door of the neighbors across the street.
Perfect.
And these of course these white trash people leave their front door wide open. Their kids wandering in and out half the time, half dressed or whatever.
Right.
And the rest of them, and it was, I forget how many shots in this Roman candle, went directly into these people's house, right through the front door. I mean, it was like watching like the Gulf War videos, of the guided missiles, where it literally comes right in. You watch it go right to the front door. We couldn't have aimed it any better if we tried.
Yep. Oh, that's perfect.
So that was a good one. And as far as I know, no arrests were made.
After you rediscovered that Usain Bolt speed and hightail.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, so that's one, and then my other one involves you ever say something, and like the moment you say it, you just think to yourself, if I had only thought about this for one more second, I could have stopped myself from saying something really this dumb. Like, you ever have one of those moments, like it just comes 100%. Out?
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Been there way too many times.
Yeah. So this moment, because it happened on 4th of July, my wife, God bless her, for putting up with me for all of these years, right? And so she knew this was coming, right? She knew when I started the show, like one of her first questions was, how many stories about me are you going to tell? And I was like, well, I make no promises. But she had to know this one was coming because she knows it's one of my favorites.
Right.
So it makes it like my favorite 4th of July memory, because we hadn't been married long. We're still living in Oxford. We'd been out, watched the fireworks show. We're back home, just kind of channel surfing on the news, and the news is kind of showing fireworks displays from around the country or whatever.
Right.
So it's like, the Statue of Liberty, the Golden Gate Bridge, and then it shows the fireworks at Mount Rushmore. And so the fireworks are going off, and there it is. And my wife, God bless her, who is smarter than me, by the way. I mean, she's brilliant, but she has a tendency sometimes to like to say something, and if she had just thought about it for maybe one more second.
Right.
Yep. And so we see the fireworks at Mount Rushmore, and she looks at me and she goes, "That's man-made, right?" And then the look on her face, right after she said it, the look on her face is one of my favorite 4th of July memories, right? That look on her face after saying that, because she knew what was about to happen, right? And she just kind of winced, and she's like, "Don't," but she knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah.
That would be like, I'd have to stop breathing to not make jokes about this, right?
Exactly.
So, that's man-made, right? I was like, no, it's not. We got really, really lucky as a country. When we were exploring the West and looking for places to move the Indians to, we came up upon this mountain in South Dakota that looks exactly like 4 of our presidents. And on top of that, like the icing on the cake is it's 4 of our really good presidents. Like,
exactly.
We didn't just wander up and find some mountain that, oh, man, this looks like Woodrow Wilson. Like, what are we going to do now? Like, it wasn't like...
May as well cover this one up.
Right. Like, it wasn't like, William Howard Taft. Like, there's not a mountain big enough to put William Howard Taft on there, for one. So there's a history major joke, for anybody who wants to look up how big William Howard Taft was. So that is one of my all-time favorite stories. So happy Independence Day, darling. I love you.
But it had to be told.
You had to know this was coming. And it was just one of those things. Like, we've all done it. We've all said something and been like, oh man. And it was just that split second right after it came out of her mouth, and that look, and then knowing what I was about to launch into, probably, and her knowing me as well as she does, knowing that until I die, I will bring this up on the 4th of July.
Yep.
It's never going away.
Yep. The rest of her life flashed before her eyes in that moment.
She's like, if I live to be 100, that means I've got to go through this about 80 more times.
Right. On the low end, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a couple of my favorite Independence Day memories. I think
good stuff.
We're about good on time, so I want to, in all seriousness, wish everybody a safe, don't do anything stupid like I did, a safe and happy Independence Day. Remember what we're celebrating. And like I said before, it ain't perfect, but it's the best we got. Love it anyway.
That's right.
Do your best to make it better. But this is one of those holidays everybody should be able to come together and enjoy. And, like they say, it's only treason if you lose.
That's right.
All right. Happy Independence Day from the Snarky Parenthetical on the JPK Network. Thank y'all. We'll see you next week.